Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are we?
All right. How are you doing?
Doing good. Doing good.
Are you staying out of trouble?
Um, yeah, I am for this week at least.
Okay.
It's been a good week.
Well, it's Experience Friday Live. We only have one more of these this year, Michael, and that one's going to be you and I just talking
Cannot
about
believe it's December.
experience. Yeah, today, like December 1st. Just what a year it has been in so many ways. It has flown by. But I want to give a couple announcements today. Just a reminder to people, if you did not listen to season 9 of the Combustion Chronicles, you need to get out there, listen to it. Women in Leadership, the Healthcare Edition, 10 amazing episodes. I've actually listened to a couple of them a couple of times, and I have sent those out to people as well to listen to. And as I mentioned, 2 weeks from today, it'll be Michael and I here. Where is experience going in 2024? We're going to talk about employee experience, customer experience, all things experience, and where we think things are going to be going in 2024. But before we jump in today, Michael, and have our guest, why don't you tell us why we keep doing this show? We are 2 years into this show now.
Crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, and I think part of that has been fun to watch the kind of evolution of experience over the past couple of years, especially in terms of language, which I'm a language nerd, and what leaders, C-suite folks, what they're willing to use in terms of language and what they're not. And I think a lot of folks are afraid of the word experience, or they don't understand it at least. But, if you don't, you can at least understand culture, because you understand times in your career that you've been a part of a good culture and times that you've been a part of a bad culture. And there's all kinds of studies that show what happened to people when they're part of a bad culture, when they're having bad experiences, and they leave, right? And so there's so much that goes into it. We call it experience, and I think that's a good segue into today's guest with Pete, because he's talking about some career stuff. And people, if they're not in a healthy place and they're not in a place that they understand is a, whatever the word, culture, not toxic, not unhealthy, but a healthy, thriving, positive, empowering culture, then they stay and they develop. And I think that's super important.
Love it. And yeah, what a segue into our guest today. We had Pete actually earlier this year. We've done some work with Pete. But most important is Pete just released his book. So let me give some people some background around. Pete Schramm loves bringing people together. He's an entrepreneur, TEDx speaker, author, best-selling author. Is passionate about connecting people and guiding diverse teams to tackle complex challenges. He grew up on a family farm in Butler, PA. During that time, Pete honed his work ethic and discovered his love for fostering connections. After graduating and completing his mechanical engineering degrees at Catholic University, he embarked on a successful career at Lockheed Martin, where he championed mentorship and collaboration in various operations and engineering roles around the globe. And as I mentioned, most recently, like last week, released his new book, Pathfinders, which I had the honor of writing the foreword for, and becoming a best-selling book. So let's welcome Pete to the stage. Hey, buddy.
Good morning. What's going on?
Here in Cincinnati, it's a little bit warmer than it has been the past week. Rainy, but a little bit warmer. So I'm taking that today.
We have some drizzle here in the Pittsburgh area today. 10 above freezing. So I'm not mad about that, because it has indeed been brisk this week.
Yes. Well, dude, we are so, first off, I think we need to say congratulations to you.
Yep.
Thank you.
I know it was a lot of hard work to get the book. We've done 2 of those. And people don't understand how hard it is to get that across the finish line. Like it's it's hard. I'll just put it at that. So we're gonna start as we always do, Pete. You, like I said, you've been on the show with us before, but this question we ask everybody, and that is, why do you do what you do, and what keeps you motivated as you do it?
I really enjoy when those around me are winning and succeeding. That's what brings me the most satisfaction. And so I work hard to make it easier for individuals to map out professional growth, to grow and develop and find where they ought to be, find the who, and learn the what. Because whenever we're surrounded with the right people and we have a map to professional growth, then we're more easily able to succeed. So I do what I do because others winning gets me fired up. And what keeps me motivated is the success stories, right? For example, this morning I got a text message from somebody that said, "Oh my gosh, I stayed up all night reading your book," which is one of those like, do as I say, not as I do kind of things. They're like, this is exactly what I needed. I need to share this with other people. I wish I had this 10 years ago. And I'm just like, whoa. And that's what we were trying to do, guys, right? You're very much so part of this journey, right? Shawn, you are some of the first words that people will read in the book, right? So thank you again for this. And thanks again, guys, for the opportunity to be on the show today.
Well, yeah, congrats. Again, we know what it's like. As you guys see here on all of our titles, I love Michael's enjoy asking good questions. So before we get into the good questions, we always also start with the Stoke. And I loved this one. And I actually went, Pete, and dug in a little bit further around this quote because there was more to this quote than what we just saw. And it is, life is what you make of it. You can make it easy on yourself or you can make it hard. By Deep Roy. Why? And you sent me that first part of it. Life is what you make of it. But then when I read the whole thing, why this, and why did you start with this before we jump into some of these questions?
Yeah, so there's an opportunity for us to have a great day every single day, right? So it's our decision how we approach situations. It's how we, kind of decide to go through things. So I say life is what you make of it, right? If I'm going to have a sour attitude and I'm going to have a woe is me kind of mindset, then we're going to kind of bring others around us down, right? But if I have that mindset, growth mindset of abundance, of opportunity, of can do, together, we, us, right? We're able to accomplish these things. We can get through this. Man, these tough times are, just an opportunity to learn from this kind of stuff. Life truly is what you make it, right? All of us have faced those crappy days, right? Whenever stuff doesn't go our way, right? We think something's going to, go this way and it goes totally the other way, right? Similar things with our careers, right? How do we have that kind of growth mindset whenever, option A doesn't work out, option B doesn't work out, and we get into some of those career mapping pieces. So do I think of, things that go wrong as like, crap, the world is ending, or like, oh, interesting, here's what I learned from that opportunity. So life is what you make of it in many different use cases.
Awesome. Love it. Yeah. Michael, I see your brain's going and you're getting the questions ready. So, hey, Pete, you got to do a favor. Like, hold up the book. Like, I realized mine is a digital version. There it is.
Here we go.
Pathfinders.
And there's pictures in there, Shawn. I made sure that there's Michael. There's pictures in there. Right? So it's easy for guys like me to get through that as well.
Yeah. So the premises of the book is around this personal board of advisors, and a lot that happens there. So, start with telling us just the simple question of what's from the book and everything. What's a personal board of advisors, and why do we need one?
So let's talk one step before that, right? Anybody that's listening, put into the comments here, type into the chat, the last vacation you went on for fun, or let's talk about, or put in there the a trip you have planned for work. So just a trip, right? A journey of some sort. And so as you think about, hey, in the last 12 months, I went on a trip here, the next 12 months, I have this trip planned. What do we do before we go? We kind of plan out, here's, I want to go see this. I'm going to stay at this hotel. I'm going to, use a, app for Uber to get from here to here. We think about the different places we want to go. We think about the different tools we're going to need. Maybe there's a GPS, maybe there's a rental car. And we probably, if it's a brand new place, talk to a couple of individuals. Say, hey, Shawn, I heard that you went to Cincinnati, or maybe you lived there for a little bit. What should I do? What should I not do? Hey, Michael, I'm coming out to the West Coast. What do you think that I should take a look at? And while I'm there, I might run into a couple of different people, and that's where the experience really takes things to new heights. So none of us are really going to disagree with any of those concepts whenever it comes to personal travel or it comes to work travel. But what happens whenever we get into this journey through our, professional workplace experiences? Do we have those tools? Do we have those guides? Do we have a map? So the way this Pathfinders methodology goes is we put together that first little bit of a map. We call it a career map. And then we talk about diverse perspectives. Because if I just ask Shawn about like, hey, where should I go whenever I come to Cincinnati? And he's a big time chili guy. He says, you got to go to Skyline. That's the only thing that you're going to have. You need Skyline in your life. And I'm like, I'm not a chili kind of person, right? Then I wouldn't have any of those diverse perspectives. Now, that's very much so sharing an example in a vacuum. But whenever we think about professional guidance, getting diverse perspectives from a few different lived experiences is really, really valuable whenever we're looking to grow. So the concept of a personal board of advisors is multiple mentors guiding us in different capacities at various stages on our career map. And it's also reducing single points of failure. And it's also introducing opportunities to expand our mind to more opportunities and insights and perspectives that we may not have even known existed.
Michael, you enjoy asking good questions.
Right. So love all of it, and have loved working with you and hearing about this. Wow, and glad the world now gets a sense of it in print. And at the same time, why does the world need another business book? Right. I always love to get to the heart of that conversation with new authors. There are so many business books out there. Everyone's trying to hand you the book that they wrote. Why is it the world needs this book?
I asked that same question before I wrote it. And I was like, guys, I don't want to write. The team came over to me and they're like, Pete, you got to write this book. I'm like, nah, there's plenty of books out there. They're good. I can do a workshop here, presentation there. They're like, no, there is nothing out there that actually walks people through what this concept is, how to do it, how to sustain it over time, and make it super simple, right? They need, I'm not going to say Barney style, but that's kind of where we are. It's just a hand holding, right? This is a journey that we're going on together. We're not leaving any rocks unturned. So we really need how-to guide whenever it comes to this concept of multiple mentors and career mapping. So that's why there's plenty of books out there that tell some of the stories. I reference probably a half dozen to maybe 10 books throughout this book, because I think that's, if you're reading one of these, you're probably going to look to fill your noggin with a couple of other concepts. And I'm not going to, boil the ocean here in these 260 pages, right? So we need to keep guiding people towards others. So it's because there was a gap in the, kind of sea of knowledge. We had to fill that gap, Michael.
And what exactly is that gap? Like, is it people who are just doing it wrong? Are they wondering aimlessly? Are they misinformed? Is it correcting bad information, or is it people who don't know they need help?
So let's go through a scenario here. Michael,
Yeah, please.
welcome to the team. I'm your boss, and part of our onboarding process, go find yourself a mentor. Actually, oh shoot, we're 6 months into work. Did you find yourself a mentor? How's that thing going? And you might say to yourself, well, boss, all the other great companies I worked for, like Mophie, they actually assign a mentor during the onboarding process, right? And they guide us through what to do there. Where's our kind of guidance and principles and process here? And that could be the instance where the boss is able to say, hey, part of your onboarding package was a copy of Pathfinder's book, right? So the goal is that this is part of, you get a t-shirt, you get a mug, you get a notebook, and you get a copy of this book whenever you're new to the organization. Because a lot of people say, yeah, let's get myself a mentor. That's really helpful. You hear all these successful people talk about mentors, and other people are super valuable. Great. Where do I find myself one of these? What do I discuss? How do I know if you're the right person for me? Should you be my mentor? Should you not be my mentor? Right? I don't really know these kinds of things, right? Okay, it's kind of like a middle school dance, right? All right, well, I see you over there. Do I just wave? We talk once, right? Should we, there's a new song on. Should we try and have a second conversation, right? And there are different personalities involved. But whenever we understand, hey, what is it that I'm trying to achieve, right? Where do I want to go? Here are a couple of questions that we might be able to ask. That makes it a whole lot easier to get started. So if we try that scenario again, hey, Michael, I'm just rereading Pathfinders right now. I'm really glad that you've been here for the last 6 months. It's been cool to grow. You want to grab coffee and talk about the, kind of career map and personal board of advisors. I'm, updating some of mine and would love to hear some of yours. We're big fans of stay interviews here, and we like to add a little bit more meat to what we're actually covering in each of these. So can you bring both of those things to our checkpoint next week? And you might have a totally different response and outlook on things because you have a map to professional growth and you have a guide of how to get there.
Well, and hiring managers don't know how necessarily. You can't assume that they know how to help someone's career path, right? Just a hiring manager does not equal a mentor necessarily, right? And then you've got HR teams who are being asked to do more with less. And so their idea of onboarding, if there isn't, just get them through their basic legal stuff that they've got to be able to say they took, right? In compliance. So, where does anyone have bandwidth in a company anymore to actually focus on career growth? I mean, that's just such a missing piece of so many organizations that we see. I mean, there are obviously a lot out there that are rocking and rolling, and they've got their HR experience together, and they've got a people person, and they're all doing stuff. But the reality is that in the most companies, it's just not there, right?
Yeah, and so one of the biggest reasons, one of the top reasons, right? McKinsey report from about a year ago, that people voluntarily leave organizations is no map to professional growth. It's like 42% of people in April 21 to April 22 are leaving because no map to professional growth. So I say, hey, there's no excuse for that. Let's get to this, right? Let's empower our people. $25, like, you got this. There's also, guys, on the back of the book, there's a QR code that takes you to the companion website. You get some of the different access to different workshops, other things. So pretty excited about what people are able to gain. And the biggest reason for this whole thing, everything we're talking about here, is we don't have to be unaware any longer, right? We don't have to be confused. We don't have to not have, some of the answers for starting blocks, right?
Right. So many people, when they're 15, 20 years into their career, they may know what to do, especially when you're starting out.
Maybe right? Yes, maybe no.
Right. But there's no way for a new person to know, right?
Yeah. So let's get practical with this, because I think it would be great for our listeners. And so, Pete, how can organizations and company leaders implement these concepts for their associates or their employees. Like, give us like the first one or two things that a company can do to do this, to make this happen.
Mhm. I think number one, we can go in and we can read, I think it is chapter 25, Exploring Organizational Use Cases. So literally walk through everything in there. I'd ask yourselves, hey, what does your onboarding process look like? I just mentioned that piece a few moments ago. Hey, how are you talking about this culture of cohesive collaboration from the start? Right? Is mentorship part of your ethos? Are you empowering people to engage and build those intentional relationships right from the start? What does your talent development process look like? A lot of people have talked about IDPs, individual development plans, and I'd ask how dynamic and interactive those plans are. And in your stay interviews and performance reviews and manager check-ins and other mentorship meetings, how often are you looking at those IDPs, right? Shawn, I look at yours, you look at mine. It goes both ways, right? And then we go through this start, stop, continue, shift methodology, right? I ask you, you ask me, right? Those pieces of feedback. So we kind of arm those managers, not just HR managers, those onboarding kind of crews, if you will, those onboarding teams. And then also leaders at organizations, right? It's short enough that you can read through it on a airplane ride across the country, and it's really a way to say, hey, a lot of people are talking about how do we stay connected. You guys, before I jumped on, it's how do we get this engagement thing right. A lot of folks are talking about surveys. Fine, what's next to the survey? What if we were able to do something like this? People care about connection. And last time I checked, it's one of our core human needs, right? Belonging, connection, growing with others. And we actually keep climbing up that pyramid whenever we get that thing right and catalyze those aha moments. This is where I really ought to be. This is what really fuels that fire, ignites that spark inside of me. So there's a lot to be said about this. And now it's just a point of, hey, let's make it possible and let's help our people get to that point. So look at your onboarding process, look at your talent development process, look at your succession planning process, right? And we've helped organizations, 15 employees up to 150,000 employees, right? It's not one size fits all, but it's just, hey, if this is new, cool, get started there. If it's a refresher, fine, get started there, right? But the idea is that it's content and information that's worth reviewing at all different levels of maturity and all different stages of kind of the food chain, if you will.
Love it. All right, dude, we're already at like 11:25, and we're getting close to the end of this here. So I'm a new leader, and I think I know what you're going to say with this, or I just graduated. Let's go this way. We just graduated from college. In your opinion, at what stage in life or in your career should you be doing this?
There's 5 stages of the career journey in my eyes: pre-career, early career, mid-career, late career, post-career. Okay. I see those are the 5. Pre-career, I think it's good to be aware of this, but it's not paramount. Early career, mid-career, yes, that's the time. So as you're coming out of college, and any graduates out there, get them a copy of this book. Right, holidays are coming up. This is a gift that keeps on giving. Geez, I sound like somebody from that As Seen on TV commercial. But seriously, like this is a cool gift, interactive opportunity, right? We talked about that onboarding package. And if people are within, the first couple years of starting that professional journey, it can be valuable. Also look at mid-level management. right? I was on a podcast a week ago, and we talked about your core being really important for athletes, right? And whenever our core is strong, we can jump higher, we can do other things more effectively. The same thing inside of companies. Our mid-level management is our core. So when that's not strong, whenever we don't put the right training in there for our leaders, right? We can't assume that, hey, because you have 12 years of experience, you know how to lead others, right? And create other leaders. So those are the two most needed pieces. As we get into the late career, this is an opportunity of like, hey, we should, and could be doing this. And you want to make sure that you're able to share your career map and share some of the stories of your personal board, because you're going to be filling the board seats of others. So that's where being aware of it is helpful. And then post-career, right? How do you pay it forward, and how do you kind of stay in the loop? But I think that's kind of the level of importance as we go through the different phases of the career life cycle.
Well, awesome. Again, thank you for putting this out there. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of the journey. I want to put this out there. If people want to go out and look, here we go, pathfinders.go, latitude.com. And I know you can go out if you're part of Amazon on the Kindle version, all of that. That's where my version's sitting. Get out there, get the book. Pete, thank you for all your hard work. And I hope that the next month just brings continued success around Pathfinders and all that you're doing, brother.
Sounds good. We'll see you soon. And thank you, Michael. And thanks, everybody that tuned in. Let's change the world. Let's do it together.
Well, awesome. Hang out while Michael and I finish up, and we will come back and say bye to you, brother. Awesome. All right, Michael, any big plans for the weekend?
I mean, it's time to get some Christmas decorating done, and those kind of chores, and big game in the U of L world. So
we got like some major big games tomorrow in college football, so really excited about that. Well, enjoy, stay dry, stay warm this weekend, and we will definitely talk later. All right, brother.
See ya.